Valve is the type of studio to release a game once a decade and redefine the entire genre, and so far they haven't missed, except maybe Artifact. But since most of you probably don't remember it, they've done a good job erasing it from the history. Deadlock is the biggest release Valve is going to have this decade so far, and that's exactly why you should be excited. And no, Counter-Strike 2 doesn't count, it's the same game. So why am I so confident that this game specifically is going to pull crazy numbers and be extremely successful, aside from Valve's recognizable brand? Well, Deadlock is currently playable as an early prototype, and getting into the game is fairly easy. You just need to be invited by a friend who has it. And surely you have friends. Or you could just go on Discord and ask someone for invite. Over the last year, they've been intensively updating Deadlock, and if when I first played on release the game did feel like an alpha version, now when I decided to come back it looks more and more like a fully developed game. And with new updates it seems like developers are getting ready for a full release sometime soon, even though I doubt it would be 2026. But we are about to get supposedly the biggest update yet, so it's legit the perfect time to hop on the game. And when it comes to players, they already treat Deadlock like a fully released game. Some motherfuckers have thousands of hours already, somehow, but don't let it discourage you, because they did implement some sort of ranking system, and while it might be far from perfect or finished, it will give you some protection from no-lifers if you haven't played the game yet. And hopefully you do play it, because I am currently addicted and making this video is honestly an excuse for me to play this game more. Let me break it down for you. If you like any of those multiplayer games, I think you will enjoy Deadlock, just because of how many different elements this game combines and how much depth it has. Before we get into discussing the game, let me present my credentials. When it comes to MOBA games, the one I played the most is Dota 2, but I have only 600 hours, which is rookie numbers compared to most people who play this game religiously. I basically only play Dota in 5-stack with my friends and never touched ranked, so while I enjoyed deep mechanics of a MOBA game, I never really pushed myself to learn the game, but now when I'm trying to do that with Deadlock, I'm starting to understand that there are levels to this shit.
The fuck am I looking at?
And it's been extremely fun to watch guides and actually put thought into what items I'm buying. Deadlock is essentially a MOBA, except it's a third-person hero shooter and a movement shooter, all in one. As a fan of games like Overwatch and Titanfall, this game scratches a very specific itch. So I just said all of those things, but forget about it, because Deadlock is actually a racing game, and it's your team racing against the clock. Unlike most MOBAs, matches in Deadlock don't last long, and Valve specifically developed the game so that it ends in 25 to 30 minutes. Of course, in lower ranked games people often stall for over 40 minutes, but that's because people don't yet know how to finish a game, so everybody just farms till someone does something stupid. The objective is simple: break enemy's base. That is obviously risky and hard to do, but not if you get the mid-boss. It's an equivalent to Roshan or Baron Nashor, except he's way more powerful and not only gets your team very valuable revives, but also just straight up stat buffs, which makes your team strong enough to end the game in most cases. They are balancing Deadlock to be a fast-paced game, which is great in my opinion, especially combined with its movement. Every character has a set amount of stamina bars, which can be increased with items. You can use your stamina bar to double jump in the air or to dash. That's it. Sounds simple, but the movement in this game can actually get quite insane. There is a dash jump, which makes you go farther. You can wall jump, which doesn't consume stamina on your first wall jump. You can slide, which obviously makes you cross more distance if you have momentum, and you also get infinite ammo while sliding, which may seem like a minor and stupid detail at first, but that just shows how deep mechanics of this game are. You can dash slide while clearing camps to save some ammo and kill the mobs faster. You can slide to kill the enemy trying to escape on low HP, and that's especially useful on characters that have fast fire rate, and a character like Viper has an ability that makes her slide for longer, and she can be a legit fucking lizard sliding around you spamming her infinite ammo. You can also use heavy punch, which makes you go into this animation to reach ledges you normally wouldn't. Also, when you mental, you can hold control to immediately slide and get some momentum. Another way to get momentum are lines you use to get on a lane, and if you press Ctrl and side dash, that helps you travel more distance. As you can see, the movement alone can take you hundreds of hours to master. And I haven't even talked about the map that has all those jump pads and ropes you can climb and different geometry, but I don't think there is a point talking about the map since they still change it a lot, and in the upcoming update they are going to entirely reward bases bases from what I read. So that's exciting news, because for now bases are kind of just a bunch of concrete blocks. It's quite boring. Now let's talk about the characters, because I'm absolutely in love with what they're doing with them. First of all, you know how in other MOBAs roles exist? You have your mid laner who hits a power spike earlier in the game but then is not as strong in the end. You have your carry who is supposed to farm all game, an offlane hero, a support for carry and a support for offlaner. Well, just forget about this bullshit, because Deadlock doesn't give a fuck. Deadlock doesn't have traditional roles, which gives you a lot of flexibility and doesn't force anyone to do some chores. When you queue into a match, you have to select minimum of 3 heroes you want to play, and when you get the game, you play a random character out of however many you picked. That completely eliminates building some sort of a team comp, because you don't know what your teammates picked, and you don't even know which exact hero you are going to play, which also eliminates the problem with people arguing about who should go mid. Deadlock is 6v6 with 3 lanes, so 2v2 laning stage on every lane, which used to be 4 lanes, and thank god they changed it. Even though there are no traditional roles, some characters obviously fall into certain archetypes, like a character who is really strong at farming, who also gets really strong if they farm a lot, a roamer, a support, but because of the insane variety of items and builds you can make, no character is locked into one playstyle, and everyone can make game-defining plays. Deadlock's character balance philosophy is amazing, and that's one of many reasons I enjoy it so much. I never really liked playing support characters, but playing Dynamo is so much fun. Yeah, he might seem like a goofy looking professor, but he also got a fucking Glock, and you can make a build all around using his stomp ability to launch people in the air and hit free headshots for gazillion of damage. And also, let's just give him one of the most powerful ultimates in the game. If you are someone who is interested in lore, Deadlock also got you covered. The lore of the game is New York. Basically, 2 patrons enter the world of Deadlock and promise to fulfill a wish of anyone who helps them complete the ritual. That's why 2 teams are fighting to destroy each other's patrons. And of course, characters have their own reasons to fight. Overall, the cast is very varied and charismatic. I like listening to all the voice lines and interactions, and their visual designs are super unique and make them stand out a lot. You got Abrams, who is a capable and well-known detective of New York. Abrams solved crimes ranging from kidnappings to ritual murders. You got Hayes, who works as a secret agent in the Sandman division of OSIC, fighting as a devastating assassin. You got Doorman, who is a self-described fledgling god. The Doorman planned to experience life on the material plane of humanity for only a few weeks. After a few odd encounters and interactions, he quickly decided to remain as a simple doorman within the New York service industry. You got Lash. He is just an asshole. Characters also have great unique animations like dashing or parrying. Lash does this dive, Seven pulls out a fucking flip like he's Leon from Resident Evil, Mirage does whatever the fuck this is, Victor carries his heavy body like a zombie, and Drifter jumps in front like a convicted predator he is. Another neat detail is when your friends are in hideout, which is this game's hub. On Steam it says a different thing depending on what hero they're on. My favorite's gotta be Bebop's ignoring Lash in the hideout and Lash's thinking about Lash. Gameplay-wise, devs also did a great job at giving everyone a fun kit. Lash, for example, is a character who just lives in the air, constantly launching himself high up and then dealing a ton of burst spiritual damage. Doorman is one of the most unique characters they've added, who has a very high skill ceiling and can play absolute mind games with his teleport ability, and his ultimate just sends you into a different dimension that you have to escape in time if you don't want to get a shit ton of damage. That's so creative. A character like Moen Krill, fuck Moen Krill, kill Moen Krill, publicly fucking execute that character. Who thought it's a great idea to make a character's ultimate just as long as fucking CC? Viscous is a character who you can spend 1,000 hours one-tricking just because of the way his abilities work and interact with each other. But maybe you don't want all that and you just want to play a straightforward character, then you got Warden, who is like a Soldier 76 of this game. He's got a simple grenade, his gun is just an AR, his ultimate deals damage in front of him and heals him, nothing too complicated, but still neat. Mind you, the character cast is most likely far from being done, and I'm sure we have a lot of other characters on the way, and hopefully more items, because the more complicated this game gets, the more fun it's going to be. And I mean, it's already quite complicated. Some things in this game are not easy to figure out, but man, I love how much nuance there is. For example, you can parry enemies melee if you can react, which stuns them, but you can also stun towers if you walk up to them because they do a melee attack as well. Those slot machines that I initially thought were added for all the gambling addicts turned out to be one of the most valuable objectives in the game, because if you hit your last punch when all the lights are on and flicking, you get not 1 but 4 permanent buffs. Boxes that you can find around the map that might seem not too important actually have the craziest scaling, which means they become very important late game. Another thing I appreciate is how you only see the scoreboard with players' stats in the end of the game, which means people are not going to start blame each other mid-match because someone's damage numbers are low, which happens all the time in Overwatch. I really think they should remove scoreboards because it makes players focus on the wrong things and not actually pay attention to what's happening in the game. I know the bar of entry might seem high, but I really think it's worth to try and learn Deadlock, because what you get in return is a very fun experience. Coordinating actions with your team, split pushing lanes, strategically steering enemies jungle, or even simply outplaying your opponent with movement and smart skill usage. All of that feels so rewarding. I also think that Deadlock is a great spectator game, probably because it's a third-person shooter at its core. When you look at something like a match of League, as someone who played MOBAs before, I don't get what the fuck I'm looking at. But Deadlock is way easier to follow, and if you play the game just a little bit, you can probably watch and enjoy professional matches of it. So, as you figured out by now, I'm a big fan of Deadlock, and I think this game will be absolutely massive on release. So the moral of this video is, Montreal players, fuck you.